Hi everyone, glad you're here. I was halfway through my first cup of coffee when the toaster threw a spark like it wanted attention. I yanked the plug, waved the smoke away with yesterday's mail, and stood there in my Durham kitchen feeling oddly awake. Outside, a Saturday in June stretched out like a clean table. I had chores on a sticky note: laundry, oil change, grocery run, but they felt like background music. What I really wanted was a small adventure that didn't cost more than $10. On my way to the corner store, I saw a hand-painted sign: yard sale, cash only, 8 a.m. The arrow pointed down Maple Street, where porches were plants like jewelry. I turned without thinking, the way a dog turns when it hears its name. The sale belonged to Miss Ava, the retired music teacher who waters her tomatoes at sunrise. Her front lawn looked like a little museum of ordinary things: lamps, puzzles with one piece missing, a stack of old sheet music with coffee rings. On a card table, I found a Polaroid camera the color of a robin's egg. "Does it work?" I asked. "Worked last week," she said, "if you talk nice to it." The camera still had 8 shots inside. I gave her $5 and a promise to bring her a photo. She winked. "Bring me 2. I like options." I carried the camera like a fragile secret. The morning was mild and sweet, the kind of air that likes your skin. I decided, on a whim I trusted, to make a tiny project: 8 pictures, all within 1 square mile, all by noon. A museum of the morning, curated by a man with coffee breath. First shot, the sign at the bus stop that says "Please and no litter," with a lone, brave dandelion growing from a crack in the sidewalk. The photo came out slow, cloudy at first, then honest. It felt like watching a shy person smile. Second shot, Manny at the barber shop, spinning his chair before his first cut. "Hold still," I said. "I'm beautiful either way." He grinned. Third, the church steps where a little boy in Jurassic Park pajamas held 2 donuts and a serious face. His dad gave me permission, and the kid gave me a glazed sugar salute. Fourth, the orange cat that owns the fence behind the laundromat. I crouched, clicked, waited. The cat blinked like a judge who'd seen it all and approved anyway. Halfway through the roll, clouds gathered like good gossip. I crossed to the farmer's market for peaches and cold lemonade. A band tuned up under a white tent. The guitar player reminded me of summer jobs and sunburn. Near the zucchini pile, I met a dog named Waffles who did not wish to be photographed unless bribed. I offered a tiny corner of my peach. He considered the ethics and then complied. Click. The picture developed with his ear mid-flop. Perfect. I checked my watch. 10:17. The plan was working the way a kite works when you stop looking down. A small rain started, friendly and undecided. Vendors pulled plastic over berries. I tucked the camera under my shirt and walked home by streets that made soft shushing sounds. At Miss Ava's fence, I stopped. "I owe you photos," I called. She waved from the porch, holding a glass of iced tea. "Bring them by when the day's ready," she said. "Art needs time, sugar even more." Back in my kitchen, the toaster looked innocent, like a toddler after a spill. I ignored it. I stuffed the morning's pictures along my fridge with mismatched magnets: the dandelion, Manny's grin, Donut Boy, the orange cat, Waffles the negotiator. 5 small rectangles, each humming. I felt lighter than my list. I wrote a new line at the bottom of the sticky note. Finish the roll. Share the day. It sounded like a plan that would drive itself. By noon the sky had decided to be blue again. I swapped sneakers for sandals and carried the camera like a passport. At the corner, a lemonade stand had sprung up like a mushroom after rain. Two kids, siblings by the easy way they argued, sold paper cups for 50 cents. A hand-lettered sign read "Fresh lemonade, maybe too fresh." I loved the honesty. "Can I buy a cup and some ad space?" I asked. They frowned. I pointed at my camera. "One photo for your marketing." The older one squinted. "Does marketing mean more customers?" "Hopefully." "Deal." I posed them with their sign, the picture, and their dad's baseball cap worn backwards like a small business crown. The camera sighed, and the square slid out. While it developed, we brainstormed a slogan. The younger one, who had a gap in her smile wide enough for a secret, said, "When life gives you us, buy lemonade." We kept it. Their mom laughed so hard she had to sit on the curb. 6 shot in the bag, I walked to the car wash where a line of Saturday sedans waited like horses. A teenager danced with a sponge to music only he could hear. I asked if I could catch a frame. He nodded and doubled down on the move. I pressed the shutter, and nothing happened. The camera clacked, coughed, then stayed quiet. I remembered Miss Ava's warning, "Talk nice." "Listen, friend," I said to an object that did not owe me anything. "We're making the tiniest museum, and you're the only employee." I pressed again, gentle. The machine whirred like it forgave me. The picture slid out, the kid in mid-laugh, water turning into stars around his elbows. That left 1 shot. I wanted it to choose me. I walked aimlessly, which is a strategy with a better batting average than people admit. On Walker Street, I heard a soft whistle. A woman in a red visor stood near a telephone pole covered in flyers: piano lessons, lost bike, found parrot, silent, and at the center, lost dog, small terrier mix named Ruthie, scared but friendly. The woman's eyes had the tired hope of someone who'd asked every stranger already. "You seen her?" she asked me, like I might be the winning coin in a jar. I hadn't, but I wanted to. We walked 1 block together, then another. She called, "Ruthie," in a voice that tried to sound like a treat bag. It happened near the vacant lot where sunflowers patrol the fence. A small dog darted out from under a porch, paused, and tilted her head in that way terriers use when deciding if you're trouble. The red visor woman sank to her knees and held still. "Hey, Ruthie," she said, just like someone might say, "Hey, Tuesday." Ruthie inched closer, sniffed a hand, then wagged a tail so fast it turned into a thought. I swallowed the urge to photograph. Some moments are lamplight, others are flame. You warm your hands and let the fire be. We walked back together. The woman thanked me like I'd returned a year of her life. She asked my name and promised a pie. "Blueberry," she said, decisive. I said blueberry was the right answer to most questions. At the market, I printed a copy of the car wash dancer and the lemonade COs. The clerk, bored but kind, watched the squares arrive and said, "That's a nice way to spend a day." I nodded. It felt not just nice, but precise. At home the fridge looked like a bulletin board for good choices. I tucked 2 duplicates into an envelope for Miss Ava and biked them over before the light got syrupy. She met me at the gate with clothespins. "Let's hang them," she said. We pinned the day along the porch rail: dandelion, Manny's chair, the donut kid guarding sweetness, the orange cat pretending not to care, waffles with peach diplomacy, the lemonade partners, the car wash dancer, a blank space where I wrote, in small letters. Ruthie found. Miss Ava tapped it. Sometimes the picture is the news, she said, pleased with the sentence and with me. Neighbors drifted by like moths to a porch light. People brought folding chairs they didn't mind losing. Mr. Rivera from 2 houses over arrived with a cooler full of soda and that smile that says, "I've done this before." The lemonade crew marched up, saw their portrait, and gasped like they'd been famous all their lives but finally had proof. The dancer boy rode by on his bike, recognized himself, and executed a celebratory spin that made the crowd clap. As the sun softened, the woman in the red visor appeared, carrying a pie in a tin with a towel over it like a blanket. She had Ruthie on a leash and relief in her posture. She handed me the pie with both hands. "For the museum," she said. "Every museum needs a cafe." We cut slices with a pocket knife someone produced, and strangers sat on steps eating blueberry that tasted like the color itself. The pie plate went empty faster than a rumor. I thought of my morning list, the chores waiting their turn. Laundry could be tomorrow's story. The oil could wait till Monday, when the shop was quiet and the coffee stronger. Right then the world felt properly tuned. The photos quivered in a small breeze. Someone started a low song without lyrics, just a hum that made me think of the bus stop dandelion pushing through, the ordinary insurgent. Miss Ava leaned over and whispered, "Take one more." I frowned. "Camera's out." She grinned, triumphant. "Not of them. Of you? With the day." She pulled out her phone, the kind of picture my camera couldn't take, the kind the present makes when it wants to keep you honest. I stood next to the railing, shy but willing, blueberry on my shirt, the Polaroids behind me like friendly windows. She clicked. "Now you belong to your own exhibit," she said, and patted my elbow. The porch light came on and turned the pictures into warm coins. People said goodnight in a language made of names and small promises. "See you Monday. Bring that recipe. I'll return your book." I think Miss Ava wiped the crumb confetti from the railing and walked home with the leftover clothespins in my pocket like evidence of something soft. My kitchen smelled faintly of smoke and peach. I unplugged the toaster for good and slid it into a bag destined for the dump. Then I made a list on a fresh sticky note, because I'm me. Drop pie tin, buy bread, call mom, print doubles, send Manny his shot, new toaster ? At the bottom I wrote, "Keep looking." It felt like instructions and a blessing. I took the Polaroids down from the fridge and laid them on the table in the order they happened, like stones across a stream. 8 small facts. For once my mind didn't edit or wish. It just stayed. The day had given me something I could hold without breaking, proof that attention is its own kind of luck, that a square mile holds more than you think, that you can build a museum out of lemonade, rain, a dog named after a biblical friend, and a yard sale camera that works if you talk nice. I turned off the light and the room kept glowing, as if the photos had learned how. I went to bed with the window open and the night slid in, soft and certain, like it knew where it belonged.